Hello everyone and welcome along to today's video, how to beat the deadline for Portugal's Golden Visa. Crucially, it's not too late to get onto this program, although time is running out quickly, and we'll be exploring how to make sure you can still access this route to European citizenship in today's presentation, which will take around half an hour of your time today. Now, if you're new to my videos, my name's Jonathan. My team and I are the leaders when it comes to Portuguese Golden Visas. If you are not new here, then you may notice that I'm sat here in a shiny new office. So that is an exciting development on my side. Right, let's kick off. What's on the agenda for today? Now, many of you may have been surprised to see this video come up, as there has been a lot of fake news doing the rounds recently that the Portuguese Golden Visa had already closed. As of the start of June 2023, the time of recording, this is categorically not the case, although this is on the cards for the near future. We're going to focus on the legal outlook and the application timelines in today's video to ensure that anyone watching this session can get onto the program and therefore secure grandfather rights to residency and ultimately Portuguese citizenship, before then taking a look at the standout investment options that now exist. We'll be looking at two cases specifically today, and each of these offer a fast track to Golden Visa submission, and as a result are very interesting at this moment in time. Once I've taken you through these two investment cases, I'll close things off today by explaining our track record and history as a leader in the Golden Visa space. Now, you didn't think that we'd go through this entire session without some kind of sales pitch, did you? So we'll do that quickly at the end. And so that's what's in store. Let's dive in. So who am I to kick things off? Well, my name is Jonathan and I'm a Senior Wealth Manager here at Hold One Assets. We will come back to the company at the end of the presentation. I'm a fully qualified and licensed financial advisor to expats around the world. I've been an expat for the best part of a decade now. However, I qualified in the UK. I now help people all over the world to secure their family's European future, specializing in the Golden Visa space. Now, if you'd like to contact me at any point, you can see my email address on the screen there. It's jonathan.ralph@holdoneassets.com. Feel free to reach out. I do not bite. So, how did we get here? What's the background? Well, the truth is that the end of the Golden Visa program has been rather well telegraphed in recent times, and this represents the end of Europe's cheapest remote citizenship option. To be clear, after Portugal closes its doors, it will be significantly harder to get access to European citizenship through investment without physically moving to Europe and living here for a number of years. Now, I mentioned that there have been several fake news stories circulating in recent times, some saying that the Portuguese Golden Visa had already closed. So let me address that very quickly. These are fake stories. These are simply untrue. Most often put out there by eager journalists looking for clicks rather than credibility. Now, I know that sounds harsh, but it is true, simply because my team and I are submitting new client cases to the immigration authorities in Portugal every single day. Business as usual is not a very interesting story, but I'll leave you to make up your mind and choose who to believe on that point. As I say, we are here on the ground doing this every day. That said, when the new law is eventually passed, the Portuguese Golden Visa scheme will be closing for good. This will likely be in the coming weeks and months. So just to give you the background on how we got here, now if you've seen this before in a previous video, feel free to skip ahead. But November 2022 really was the beginning of the end for the Golden Visa. Whilst there had been some speculation for a long time leading up to this date, this was when the end of the Golden Visa first started to rear its ugly head in earnest. This was when the Communist Party of Portugal proposed the ending of the program, and interestingly, Antonio Costa's ruling Socialist Party actually opposed the measure, and the proposal was dismissed by Parliament, so you might think that's a little bit strange when we look at the current context. Regardless, after the popularity of the scheme grew and grew, with demand being driven by Americans looking to escape political unrest, gun violence and school shootings, etc. at home, and also by Brits looking to escape the consequences of Brexit with a second citizenship, in addition to regular areas of demand such as China and the Middle East. Now, this drew further attention to the Golden Visa scheme, and in February of this year, 2023, Antonio Costa formally announced his intention to end the program. Now, officially, this was to ease the housing situation in the country, although his government did not produce an impact analysis, and this suggestion was roundly ridiculed by all concerned. Fast forward to March, and an initial 2-week public consultation period on the proposal was ultimately extended after much consternation and outcry from lawyers, real estate developers, economists and investors alike. I do include ourselves in that as well. The government of Madeira even came out to blast the measures, insisting that it would not comply with instruction from national government. And then even worse, the Portuguese president himself disparaged Costa's proposals, actually calling them unworkable in the press. Costa and his government then proceeded to ignore every single one of these people and ploughed ahead regardless, insisting on a retroactive cut-off date for all new golden visas of the 16th of February of this year. However, as I and my company and my colleagues have pointed out in previous communications, such a retroactive date is quite simply unconstitutional, and eventually Costa and his government were forced to yield on this point, and that brings us up towards the present day. And the key takeaway of this slide, which is that golden visa applications can continue until a new legal framework is established. So what is the current legal framework? Well, let's break this down into 2 use cases. Firstly, new applicants. That will likely be most of you watching this video, and as I've already hinted, new golden visa applications are being accepted and processed as normal. We know because we're doing it, and this will continue to be the case until a new law can be passed and take effect. Leading law firms across Portugal believe that the earliest that any new law can actually be tabled is the end of June now. And then even after that, if things progress smoothly, it will not be until the end of July. We believe that can actually take effect. So as long as we get started in a golden visa process by the end of June of this year, then we should be okay. However, we at Holborn, we prefer not to take any chances whatsoever. And so that is a deadline that we are working to, even though the timelines are not set in stone, of the end of June, to ensure that we deliver the required outcomes for our clients and that no one is left outside of the golden visa program when it does eventually end later in the year. It's also important to note that CEF, the Portuguese Immigration Authority, cannot legally postpone, hinder or reject any golden visa applications until a new law is in effect. We therefore continue as normal. The next use case is that of the existing golden visa residence permit holder. Most probably not relevant to most of you watching this session, but just to give you some added peace of mind, if you are holding a golden visa already, or if you're a golden visa holder before any law change, then at the next renewal, your golden visa will be converted to a D2 resident visa. This is typically the entrepreneur's visa. However, this is purely a change in the naming convention, i.e. the name of the visa and nothing more. Essentially, it is unconstitutional for them to change the terms of your visa, so you will retain the same rights and privileges that you hold under your current golden visa. This means that, crucially, 7 days physical stay per year is all that is required for legal residency, as per current golden visa legislation. The government had tried to extend this to 6 months, i.e. 183 days, but this, of course, would be unconstitutional once again, and that idea has since been scrapped. But don't just take my word for it. Here are the legal opinions of 2 leading law firms in Portugal, namely Prime Legal and Pax Legal. Each of these legal statements essentially summarise in different words what we've just discussed on the previous slide, so feel free to pause the video here if you'd like to go through this yourself. Otherwise, feel free to contact me via email for a full written legal statement if you prefer, and if that would be helpful for you. Recapping key points then before we start looking at the investment cases that I've outlined. Now, the golden visa is ending. To access the scheme and to avoid disappointment, the time to act is now. This is not a drill, this is not a tactic, this really is your last chance to get on the Portuguese Golden Visa program before it closes for good. We have until the new law is passed to get your application submitted, and whilst this may be at the end of June, this is not yet certain. I say end of June, forgive me, end of July. The timelines are moving with some regularity here. This is not yet certain, and there is the possibility of that being pushed back to later in the year. However, that being said, there is always the risk of the government finding a legal loophole to fast track their plans. So the key milestone is that we have an application submitted by the end of June 2023. So just to clarify that point, in order to make it onto the program safely, we need to hit that key milestone of making the investment, submitting the application to SEF, and then obtaining your ARI number, which is basically your Golden Visa case number, by the end of June 2023. If we can do that, that will be before the new law is ultimately passed. Then you would be legally grandfathered into the scheme, even if the law changes before you are officially approved. The ARI number is the key deliverable. Now, to manage expectations here, Holborn is now working around the clock to get all clients to this milestone ASAP. We are taking clients from beginning to end, i.e. initial agreements to application submission, in 3 to 4 weeks. There is a lot of administration to be completed within that time frame, however, including getting tax numbers, opening bank accounts, preparing documents, having documents translated and apostilled. So I must insist, if you are serious about getting onto the Golden Visa program, do not delay. Get started immediately. If we can begin the process together by the end of this month, then we are highly confident of getting you comfortably over the line before the law changes. Like I say, these timelines do have the propensity to change somewhat frequently. Portugal has quite a habit of moving the goalposts, so do stay tuned to this channel and get in touch if you aren't sure about any details or you'd like the latest up-to-date information. And finally, as an additional safety net, Holborn is writing 100% money-back guarantees into our client agreements in the event that we miss the deadline and cannot get you onto the scheme. So we are essentially taking on the risk for you and underwriting it. We don't do that because we like it. We don't do that because we're nice and friendly people, or I hope you'll agree that we are. We do it because we are supremely confident of getting the job done for you, and we are happy to put our money where our mouth is and take on all the risk on your behalf as a result. Quickly now, let's take a look at the process to obtain your Golden Visa before looking at the investments. Now, this slide has been simplified to make it quite easy to understand, but we don't need to go into any more detail than this at this stage. So this is the process for you to obtain your Golden Visa residence permit. The whole thing takes around 12 months, and as you can see, we do most of this from the comfort of your home. This includes the kickoff, where we sign client agreements, establish your administrative presence in Portugal. That means getting your tax numbers, opening your bank account, setting up a power of attorney so the lawyers can purchase the property for you. We'll then ask you to send the funds to your Portuguese bank account, or alternatively to the lawyer's escrow account, so that we can bypass that stage in the process and cut down the processing timelines, so that we can then complete the purchase. Once the investment's been made, we'll submit your Golden Visa application to the SEF, to the authorities for approval. This is the key milestone. As I say, right now, we are adopting certain methodologies that allow us to get to online application submission in under a month, which then allows us to get your ARI number. As I've mentioned, the ARI number is your case number, and this is what gives you the legal basis for grandfather rights to the current Golden Visa scheme, thereby protecting you from any subsequent changes in legislation. After this has been achieved, as I say, this is the key deliverable, but after this has been achieved, it's just a matter of time before we have everything else sorted and get your cards issued. To do this, we'll invite you to come to Portugal for the biometric appointment. Now, this is the first and the only time in the entire process that we actually need you to be physically present in Portugal. Once that's done, we'll take care of the rest, and once the cards have been printed and issued, we'll have them sent out to your home address. And then congratulations, you are now a bona fide resident of Portugal, and in 5 years' time, you'll be eligible for dual nationality and that second passport. So like I say, when you're ready to explore the best options for you, I suggest you drop me an email at jonathan.ralph@holbornassets.com, and we'll update you on the timelines and the best available investment cases for your family and your objectives. On that call, which will be a brief introductory session, I'll walk you through those best available options with no pressure, no obligations. Again, the only aim of that call is to make sure that we find and identify the right solution for your family and manage expectations accordingly. Now, today I'm going to take you through 2 investment options. These are new investment options, both recently launched, and both of which offer fast-track timelines to get you onto the Golden Visa program as soon as possible. Both of these are in partnership with major global hotel brands, so these should hopefully be of some interest to you. The first is a Wyndham Garden Hotel in Settlewell in Guarda. This has a very interesting financial case, which we'll get to in just a minute. But first, a quick summary. Now, this is a medium-sized 4-star hotel with 60 rooms and all of the amenities that you would expect from a 4-star hotel. So that's namely a restaurant, a bar, and conference facilities. The hotel is built, it's an existing building undergoing renovation, and will open as a Wyndham Garden in the second half of 2024 when the renovation work is scheduled to conclude. The fact that we're talking about a completed building makes this particularly attractive, as a renovation project carries significantly less development risk than an off-plan development, which is one of the reasons that I'm so keen on this investment case for my clients. Now, if you're not familiar with the Wyndham Garden concept, it's one of the mid-scale brands for Wyndham Hotels and Resorts, who are, of course, one of the largest hotel chains in the world. You'll recognize their other flagship brands here on the screen. This particular hotel, as I mentioned, is located in Portugal in Guarda. This region welcomes around 500,000 guests per year, of which the vast majority are domestic, and that's around 3/4 of all visitors. It's an area of outstanding natural beauty and history in the heart of the Rio Coa region and the most popular access point for the very popular Malcata Nature Reserve. It's an area of great tradition, largely untouched, and the large number of well-preserved castles in the area are testament to that and to the region's rich history. In terms of access, we're about half an hour drive from the Spanish border, which gives the hotel a fantastic strategic location for business travel. It's also 90 minutes to Salamanca in Spain, 2 hours to Porto, and then 3 hours dropping down south to Lisbon. And the most important information of all now, the investment case. Now, this is a co-ownership project, so you will receive fractional shares for the hotel in return for a €280,000 investment. The buyback is mandatory. It occurs as soon as you have your Portuguese citizenship, and that is set at a fixed €280,000, the same as the purchase price. And this, of course, means no capital gains tax liability in Portugal when the buyback occurs. The financial package on offer here is extremely attractive with a total value of €45,000. That consists of a €30,000 upfront yield, which will be paid to you before you go to deeds on the property, which effectively reduces the required capital investment to just €250,000. And then also €11,500 worth of purchase taxes and VAT of just under €3,500, which are both paid for you by the developer, which therefore gives you a total value of approximately €45,000 as an investment case. You can also stay for free in this hotel for up to 7 days per year, or even the other hotels are offered by this developer, allowing you to meet the residency requirements for Portuguese citizenship fairly easily. Now, as I mentioned, I personally really like this option for my clients because not only is this a fast-track Golden Visa option, but the financial package on offer is really strong. And because this is a renovation project for a building that's already completed, this is not an off-plan development, this lowers the investment risk. And one of my primary concerns as a wealth manager for my clients is making sure that we always take a risk-focused approach to any recommendations that I give. So this is a very, very strong option in the current context. Now, the second option doesn't have the same level of financial package, but does offer the same minimum entry price point of €280,000, and this is a Hard Rock hotel with sea views on the Algarve. This is Pontoval, a 5-star hotel that's quite a lot larger than the Wyndham Garden we've just seen, with 275 rooms and suites, 4 restaurants, and 3 external pools with bar areas. This is an off-plan development, so a fully new build resort. The project is more than twice the size of the Wyndham Garden option in terms of the amount of investment being raised, and the developer is one of the largest developers working in Portugal today. So whilst we're talking about the fractional ownership model in today's video with the price point of €280,000, there will be another option with the Pontoval Resort. We're not going to go into that today, so check back to this channel for an update later on, or email me if you'd like further information. This is option 2. An option to invest in a full title deed for a branded serviced apartment. These will be on offer from €400,000 and they will offer a guaranteed yield option as well. Details still being finalized on that, so get in touch with me if you'd like further information on that option. But for now, we will focus on the fractional share route at €280,000. Where is the hotel, first of all? So the site of Pont de Val Hotel, the Hard Rock Hotel, is located in Portimao. Racing enthusiasts will know that Portimao is one of the most popular towns on Portugal's southern coast, and it's where the national racetrack is situated. When Formula One comes to Portugal, it goes to Portimao. Faro Airport is located just under an hour's drive away, and the hotel itself is located right next to some of Portugal's award-winning golf courses and fabulous beaches. And if we spend a little bit more time talking about location now, the Pont de Val resort itself is actually located right on the beach of Praia do Val. The views will be utterly spectacular, with all rooms boasting a sea view from a slightly elevated location, as the hotel is on a hillside looking down towards the water. Just along the coastline, so just moving south along the coast, is Praia da Rocha, a stunning location with dramatic cliffs and the medieval fort of Santa Catarina de Ribamar providing added allure. It really is a wonderful, spectacular setting. Now, I really like this shot in particular because it shows you the appeal of the resort. So not only do we have the beach of Val on the doorstep, but several other options to choose from if we're looking to spend a day on the sand. Getting into Portimao itself is also very straightforward, and with all the attractions that offers as well, such as the marina or the museum, which are perfect for hotel guests if the weather takes a turn for the worse and we don't see our usual sunny days and we start seeing some rain. The nearest golf course, as you see on the screen here, is also just a few minutes away, so the resort really is ideally located. But honing back in on the investment case, what are we looking at here? So as per the last option with the Wyndham Garden, this is a fractional ownership model with a €280,000 buy-in and a €280,000 buy-back. Now this occurs from year 6. Financial package on offer here is slightly reduced versus the Wyndham Garden, but it is still very attractive with a value of around €30,000. This is essentially comprised of €12,000 worth of purchase taxes and €18,000 worth of VAT on construction, both of which are paid directly by the developer. And as per the Wyndham Garden, the Hard Rock Pont de Val offers free stay of 7 days per year in this or any of the developers' other hotels in Portugal. So who are Holborn Assets then, and why are we the ideal Golden Visa partner? Why should you listen to a word that I've said today? Well, we are one of the largest expat financial services firms in the world. We specialise in investment solutions for internationally minded people. Our aim is to put the right money in the right place at the right time. That means being with you for all the major financial milestones in your life. So we're not just Golden Visa agents, we are holistic financial planners and wealth managers. We currently serve over 20,000 clients in more than 100 countries worldwide and manage more than $3 billion of their assets. Now, we are quite different from many of the other operators in the Golden Visa space, simply because our core business is a regulated activity. So we have a division that is regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority in the UK, another that's regulated in the EU via our European head office. That's actually based in Cyprus. I actually spend most of my time working with our various EU regulated businesses, of course. And then, of course, as a business, we hold other investment licenses for major jurisdictions around the world, such as the Middle East, for example. We're multi-award winners, extremely proud of our 4.8 out of 5 rating on Trustpilot, which puts us firmly at the head of the offshore financial services market. But the most important point on this particular slide here is that our team has handled more than 1,000 Golden Visas now at a 100% success rate. So by working with us, you can be sure that you're in exceptional hands. We are an expert team, we are very highly experienced, and we have an unblemished, outstanding track record of putting our clients first. So hopefully that's been a useful session for you. Perhaps we've even shown you what would be the best investment for you. But before we wrap up today, let's quickly look at the next steps and show you how to get started with your own Golden Visa. Now, the first step, of course, would be to contact me. and we'll draw up a quotation for you. Now, this will outline all government fees, taxes, etc. That you could expect to pay as part of this process. It's really important for us as a company that we provide full transparency and you go into any deal with your eyes wide open as to all the potential costs that might exist. Once we've given you a quotation, assuming you're happy with it, we'll then need copies of your passports and a proof of address to run a background check on the family. Once that's out of the way, you've passed the background check, we will then draw up a client agreement and a reservation form to secure the investment in your name and begin the process. Once that's been taken care of and you've paid the reservation deposit, our team will then get to work. Actually, before we skip ahead, just a note on the client agreement and reservation form. They are required to reserve the investment and to place it in your name. And I mentioned the 100% money back guarantee that are being written into our agreements now. We do need this paperwork back by the end of June, so the end of this month, so that we can give you that 100% money back guarantee, so that we can then submit the application and meet the deadline. Once we've got that paperwork sorted and you've paid the reservation deposit, which will of course depend on the investment selected, our team will then get to work by setting up your Portuguese bank account and obtaining your tax numbers. And then once that's done, any remaining paperwork, so that may be rental agreements, buyback agreements, that of course depends on the investment in question, the deed transfer will be effected and then the application will be submitted to the Portuguese authorities so that we can obtain your ARI number. And of course that is, you'll remember, the key milestone. And then you'll be well on your way to becoming an official resident of Portugal and then achieving your dual citizenship. And that's it. So I hope today's video was helpful. Now the first step, as I mentioned, is to get in touch. So please feel free to drop me a message at jonathan.ralph@holbornassets.com when you're ready to get the ball rolling, or if you'd like further clarity on what is the best investment route for you and whether the timelines make this an option, or whether it's looking a little bit tight. So don't delay and get in touch when you can. I'll leave my contact information up on the screen here for just a moment. And yes, like I say, we are the Golden Visa market leaders when it comes to Portugal. The program is closing. We have fast track measures in place to make sure that we can hit the deadline for you. We have a vast array of investment options that will suit pretty much any Golden Visa investor. And then crucially, the 100% money back guarantee being written into each and every one of our agreements means that we are taking on the risk for you. So if the Golden Visa program is right for you, the right thing to do would be to get in touch and let's see how we can help you. So I hope today's session was helpful for you. I hope this provided a little bit of insight and helped you on your journey towards becoming a European citizen. I look forward to meeting you soon, and then until the next video, have a great day. Take care.